Good morning, everybody. I ain't had to do a period vlog in so long. I legit forgot to start vlogging when my period started, because obviously I just had a baby, so this is my first period in 11 months. I haven't had one since March 14th of 2021, and this is February, well, today is February 15th. My period started 6 days ago. Well, technically 5. It started at nighttime, and this is the morning time. So it's only really been 5 days, but it's important because it's my first postpartum period. I was kind of terrified, well, really terrified, for 2 reasons. One reason being that it's the first one, and every other person that I've ever seen describe their first postpartum period, and I've looked at a lot of message boards, they all have said it was horrid. It was like 10 or 15 days long. It was super heavy. They were soaking pads and tampons every couple hours, and it was really painful. Like, they never had cramps before, and the cramps were like terrible this time. That was number one. Number two is because I was just dreading having my period again in general, just because, you know, I've had, you know, these issues with my period, which I recently found out was due to my ovaries being polycystic. And the cysts would burst every time I got my period. So you guys know, well, anybody who's here from my other channel knows that when I get my period, I'm down for the count on day 1 and 2. The pain is so debilitating. It's literally worse than childbirth and labor, and I can say that definitively now because I have been through it. So I was really terrified that I was gonna have to go back to that life again, which was already bad enough, but then after not having a period for a year, it was really about to just suck. But I also knew, on the other hand, that a lot of women said that their periods were way easier after, you know, delivering a baby. And I couldn't really see my period getting worse or more painful. It just doesn't seem possible. So anyway, now that I've said all that, I'm just gonna tell you guys what happened. So my period has been completely painless. I didn't even have PMS. Usually before my period comes, I start cramping like literally a week in advance. You know, mild cramps, but still they're there, and they're just like reminding me of all the pain I'm about to be in. I'll have fatigue. You know, I usually gain about 3 pounds right before my period comes, and then I lose it, you know, when it does come. And a little extra because I'm usually throwing up. And what else? Yeah, I didn't have any sign that my period was coming. Even once I started bleeding, I didn't feel anything. I was just like, okay, that dripping feels like a period. Let me go look at it. I looked at how the blood looked. It was very clear that it was a period, and not just like, you know, more of the random bleeding from my uterus. Because I did have some bright red blood like a few weeks ago, and I thought maybe my period was starting, but I was confused about it. Like, I can't really tell. This time I knew for sure. Like, my body felt like I was on my period. I just wasn't in pain. Like, I'm used to being in pain, but I just wasn't in pain. Anyway, so yeah. I just randomly started bleeding one night. It was a little bit. It was like a little teaspoon or something. And I didn't really bleed anymore that night. I had like, you know, slight spotting, but that's it. And the whole night, you know, me and my mama, we getting prepared for me like possibly being sick and passing out and not being able to move or do anything for my baby. So she was gonna, you know, take care of her for the night. So we getting everything set up for that. I did take an ibuprofen soon as I started bleeding, just in case, like, even if it wasn't really terrible, like how I'm used to it being. I did it just because, you know, it was the first postpartum period. So like, even if my period does get easier, maybe this one is still gonna be bad. So I just took it just in case. But I ended up not needing it. I didn't have any pain at all. The next day my period was still very, very, very light. You know, kind of like that same spotting and just a little bit of blood. And then it got heavy the third day. It was heavy again the fourth day. And the fifth day, it started to get lighter again, like it started, you know, trying to taper off. But yeah, the only symptom that I did have was the morning after, like it came at night. It came at like 7:30 p.m. The next morning, when I was eating breakfast, I did feel like I was about to start overheating, and that's usually the first sign of me about to be sick on my period. I get really, really, really hot and then I pass out. So I started to feel a little bit of that for like a few minutes, and then it stopped. So I guess I was just having a hot flash. But yeah, it went away. So, and I didn't feel anything else for the rest of my period. I didn't feel like any pain, didn't have no hot flashes, didn't have no nausea or weakness. I was just good. It's crazy. Like I am like really truly hoping that this is my new period, because even if it's not painless, like I just don't want it to be debilitating. But if it's painless, I will definitely take that. Like I can handle any other part of my period. I can handle heavy bleeding. Okay, I can handle diarrhea. I couldn't handle, you know, hot flashes. I just cannot handle that pain. Like I don't want to suffer anymore. I feel like I've suffered for so long. Literally 5 years of every single month just having to go through labor every month. Like, can you imagine? And I'm just like, I knew there was a possibility that it would be different, you know, after I had my baby. But I'm just hoping this is like, I hope this is the real thing. I hope it's really gonna be like this. Like, oh God, please. Have you finally taken my pain away? Because I've been begging for years. Like, please, just like when you're going through that, and I've seen other people say this too under the, like in the comments of my period video where I described everything that I go through. They're like, I literally just be on the floor just begging God to take the pain away. Like sometimes I feel like a lot of the women have said they sometimes feel suicidal when it's happening. I'm like, I don't feel suicidal, but I completely understand feeling that way because it's literally that painful, y'all. So we're hoping, right, mamas? We're hoping this is how mommy's new periods are. Yeah, me too. So obviously it hasn't ended, so the vlog isn't ending yet, but I'll keep you guys updated. I'll be making your little baby sounds in the background of my video. I look crazy right now, y'all. Excuse my hair. I haven't like cut it or worn a scarf in the past few days, so I look crazy. But anywho, my period has ended. It lasted for 6 days, which is normal for me. What else can I say? It was a normal period. It wasn't anything like how most people have described their first postpartum period. And like I said before, you know, it was completely painless. I felt like I was on my period, like my body felt that it was, you know, menstruating. But I didn't have any PMS. I didn't have any pain, no cramping. It was just the perfect period. I'm like, man, like I'm like really hoping that this is what my period is gonna be like for the rest of forever. If it is, then my life has been changed. And thank you, Michael. Like, I don't know, you just hear these stories about that all the time where women have these crazy periods, and then after they give birth, they just never have a crazy period. And it's just like, is it really that simple? Like, I know they say it's because the uterus has expanded and stretched and whatever else that it does, but I don't know. It just seems like, I don't know. I hope it's real. Like, I could literally show y'all a list of all the like natural remedies that I've tried, and then like the things I intended on trying. Like, if those things didn't work, then I had, like, other things to be like a backup, but things that were more serious, more intense on my body and not so natural. And yeah, I just like, I have all these X's from things that didn't work. I have notes from things that like worked the first time, it didn't work after that, or things that helped with the pain but didn't take it away. It was still like pretty bad, but it just wasn't debilitating. So yeah, having a baby was on that list because obviously I wanted to have babies eventually. But it was just one of those things that I knew could potentially take my pain away. And then I also had things on there, like before having a baby, like in the DNC. That was something that a woman from my job suggested. She said she had a bunch and it helped, for a couple of months or so. And then she would be back to having that pain again. And she did not have children. And yeah, it was just like, it's crazy to think that like this would be the thing that finally helped. And it's not like I did it on purpose, like I had a baby to take my period pain away. But it was definitely something that I thought about, like once I was pregnant, I'm like, this could potentially take my period pain away. But fingers crossed, y'all. I don't know what I'm gonna vlog about anymore, like in my period vlogs, if I don't have pain anymore. But I will say this, the last thing that I was trying before I got pregnant was I went back to the magnesium, except this time I wasn't taking Epsom salt baths. I was taking magnesium supplements with my iron and vitamin C supplement. And I was taking it on a more regular basis, actually 3 times a day, and not just like once a day in the week leading up to my period. And magnesium was the thing that worked the best for me out of all the remedies that I've tried. I had that painless, PMS-less period after the first time I tried Epsom salt baths, and then when I did the supplements, it took my PMS away completely. I didn't have any premenstrual symptoms at all. So yeah, that would be the thing that I recommend to anyone right now who's experiencing it. And yeah, it's hard because when you have polycystic ovaries, it's not much that you can do about it but try to regulate the pain. And for me, the pain is just so bad when a cyst ruptures. It is so bad that there's really nothing, no medication that you can take in that moment. There have been people who even said they would start taking ibuprofen like a few days in advance, and it still wouldn't take the pain away. So it's rough. It is rough. But yeah, hopefully I have good news for the next period vlog as well, and I'll keep y'all updated.